Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and look, Modern Horizons 3, or should I say Commander Horizons 3? Because let's be honest, this set is not for Modern. This set is for Commander. Look, yes, there are some Modern cards, okay? Wizard of the Coast did have the, generosity to consider the Commander players for a product that literally has Commander in the name. But realistically, I mean, I looked through the set, I looked through a bunch of the leak cards, whatever, release cards, previews, etc. And I mean, a good chunk of them, around like 50% or so, are Commander cards. Now, doesn't mean that they're not like modern playable, but the design, the feeling, that kind of like where the card's probably going to be is going to be more powerful in Commander. And just, there's no doubt about that, right? And for all of you guys who've been looking at the Commander Horizons 3 cards, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of cards that's like, man, I'm reading this card and I'm like, what shell does this go in Modern? Versus, oh yeah, I can see that going to Commander, right? So that's reality, okay? Modern Horizons 3 is going to be out very soon. Looks like overall the set's doing really well. People really like it. I think the general reception of the set is good. And that makes sense because if you think about it, I mean, overall, like, look, this is another Modern Horizons set. The cards are looking good. It does look like we're going to have some sort of like shifts in Modern, obviously, because the set, this is your rotation. Okay, Modern players, get ready. This is your rotations coming. So that's basically that. But more importantly, again, the design of this set is really for Commander. It's a lot of Commander cards. Basically, at this point, Wizard of the Coast realized that if they don't design for Commander, they can't really sell products, right? And a lot of their player base, I would say like 70%, 60%, 70% of their player base is Commander now, right? And that's pretty obvious. The funny thing is also, whenever you run a Commander game, that's already 4 players. Normally when you run competitive 1v1 constructed, that's 2 players. So you can imagine if there's, a lot of Commander players happening, they're usually pooling at least 4 players together for that kind of game, right? Now, mine, of course, CEDH aside. So there's that. What about the prices? Obviously, for those of you guys who didn't know this, there has been a pretty huge price increase between Modern Horizons 2 and Modern Horizons 3. Now, there's already been a price increase between Modern Horizons 1 and 2, but again, that's maybe like 2 years in between during pandemic and all the weird like shipping stuff, so that was understandable. But now, Modern Horizons 3, price-wise, is looking pretty close to basically at a master price or master set price, right? And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, at this point, Wizard of the Coast increasing price is pretty much common, like, every day for players who don't understand. Like by doing this weird like draft boosters into play boosters, right, or set boosters, and then combining them to play boosters. Effectively, Wizard of the Coast has said, I'm going to give you the same amount of cardboard, right? It doesn't cost them more to print this stuff, but it's going to be about almost double the price, right? And you can see we went from $80 draft booster boxes to now about $150 play boosters. And I don't know how you feel, but that's about like, double the price. Within about maybe like 4 years, I think it was 2019-ish, we were still buying draft boosters for around 80. So that's the reality of where we are now. Modern Horizons, of course, we're not even talking about the super premium stuff like the collector's boosters or collector boosters or like the collector edition commander decks, etc. Which, by the way, like, if you really, you want to argue with me, hey, Mark, it's Modern Horizons, not Commander Horizons 3. Explain to me why a Modern Horizons set needs a set of commander decks, but also a set of collector commander decks. Why? Right? These decks could have just literally been the next product. Do another Universes Beyond. Do another whatever you want to call this. Why have commander decks that come out with every single set? If not, because Commander is very popular, and you need to sell everything with Commander in mind, okay? I don't really want to have that argument. The reality is this. If you don't believe it, you're an idiot. You just, basically, you need to like unplug your ears. I mean, closing your eyes does not solve the problem, okay? Commander is everywhere, whether you like it or not. Personally, I don't like it. Personally, I don't really think that we should have sets designed for everything, but also Commander, because it dilutes from the set itself. But I fully understand why economically, right, as a business, why you would make that decision. As Wizards of the Coast, they have to make money, they have to grow their player base, and you can imagine that just makes sense because, look, Commander sells, Modern kind of sells, right? But if I can sell both, hey, that's better, right? Look, so price-wise, of course, there's been a price increase. Also, there's been a shortage of product. So this is kind of interesting, right? So as far as like allocations go, and I've been kind of like watching the numbers a little bit, more and more recently, I've noticed that like things like collector bundles, so like the gift edition bundle, the one that has like one collector booster packs in it, are more like strongly or tightly allocated than before. Like a long time ago, I would be able to order like probably 2, 3, 4 cases of those, which equates to about 48 to like, or so gift edition bundles. I can only do like 6 to 12 now, right? And it's like way less than before. In addition to that, commander decks, I think most of the stores I talked to got allocated 1 to 3 collector edition commander decks. So those being at the price that they are kind of makes sense. Now, I don't know what Amazon got. Of course, it's like whatever's left over. But Amazon probably got like, a lot. But even a lot is probably not that many because, again, so far, all signs are pointing to the fact that print runs are being tight. Now, I don't know if that's true for play boosters. Maybe that one is the one that's more like loose, right? And a lot of reprint equity, and Wizards of the Coast might just be, print a little bit for the first run, but ready to go on a reprint pretty fast and ship it over, etc. So maybe that's not too bad as far as Modern Horizons go, okay? But the collector boosters, obviously, a lot of places I'm looking to, their limits are pretty tight, right? And so it does look like the price will actually go up because there is a shortage of those more, like fancier premium products for this lineup. So there's that. Even the commander decks, there's some little bit of like tightness on the total amount of inventory. But so far, I can pretty much order what I want, so I'm not too worried about that, right? But again, between the tightening of the print run, between the price increase, and honestly, demand from commander players and demand for the product itself, the price increase is not really deterring demand at all. From what I can tell, a lot of players are still buying, even at this much higher price, and they kind of don't care. And for those that don't remember, Modern Horizons, unlike Master Set, even the draft boosters, are more like collector editions because they're limited in print quantity. At least that's what's stated by Wizards of the Coast. We don't actually know because we never see any like print numbers. They never release this data anyways. But that's what they state, right? Versus the Modern Horizon sets are printed demand, like more like the normal mainline tentpole draft sets, like Markov Manor, etc. These kind of sets, or Thunder Junction, where if boxes kind of run out, then they can just print more play boosters. So there should be enough products for stores as they keep ordering. Should is the key word here, okay? But let's be honest, Commander is king, and it drives sales. I mean, that's part of the reason why demand has not been deterred at all, because if demand was being deterred, right, then we would see the price softening. But what we're seeing is actually the price is kind of increasing because people are selling out. People are realizing that they have pre-sold more than they actually have allocated. And so, of course, whatever's left over for the store, they have to sell at a higher price because they have to make margins, etc. So, right, it's a good opportunity for stores, which is not a bad thing, I guess, in general, right? But Modern Horizons 3, right, more than any other product so far. I mean, look, obviously the writing's been on the wall. I've been talking about this to death. I think just recently today, I was reading through some comments on my YouTube videos, and one of the commenters was like, it's really sad. I want to play competitive Magic. I used to be a digital player. This is my commenter. I used to be a digital player. I want to play some competitive Magic, and then of course I got into paper with standard modern, doing more competitive stuff, and I show up to Friday Night Magic, and everyone's just like Commander, 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 right? Everything's Commander, and people barely show up to the Modern Nights, etc. So I totally get it, right? It's really tough if you're out there playing these formats that are kind of like, like not casual enough. And a lot of Magic players are becoming more and more casual, and the game is becoming more and more casual, with all sorts of keywords, and the cards are barely readable. Like, okay, I mean, we're getting to basically we're getting to the mode where Yu-Gi-Oh is, where players don't really read cards. It's like, you tell me what the cards do because there's a lot of text, and you tell me if it's going to work that way. I don't really care. That kind of gameplay, right? Which is not really that great. It's not really what I want to do because I want to have more interactions. I don't want to have cases where basically the game is so complicated with so many layers of different effects, etc., that it's just like everyone's kind of Tetrising and solitarying, and hey, if you build a bigger castle, you win the game, right? It sucks. But yeah, I mean, this is the problem, right? So if you design cards that are supposed to go to modern, but they're really built for Commander, I mean, they're going to be a little more complicated. They're going to have more interactions, abilities, triggers, and etc. And that's kind of fun for Commander, but it's maybe not so fun for more competitive gameplay where kind of a lot of the lines have to be a little tighter, right? And yes, it's good to have cards that have like different abilities, maybe give options to deck builders, but they should be designed for modern. They shouldn't be designed for Commander, only, or sometimes at least Commander as well. And this is, the core issue, right? You have a product, you call it Modern Horizons 3, but you're building half the product for Commander. I mean, how does that make sense? How does a modern player want to buy a product that says Modern Horizons 3? Why not just call it Commander Horizons 3, right? And the funny thing is, Commander players last year already got their product. It's called Commander Masters. Why do they need another one this year? And okay, and realistically too, Commander players get sets every single set, right? Gets new cards every single set. And I don't just mean like the Commander exclusive cards. I mean in the set itself, like Thunder Junction, tons of legendary. I mean, it's not a fluke that there's been an increase in legendaries in the last 2 years of sets, right? These cards are built for Commander play. That's intentional. That's not a fluke. That's where we are now, right? Magic is Commander, and whether you like it or not, just you have to face reality. And personally, I just think it's really fun if you like those kind of things, and maybe like Magic is becoming more diluted. It's becoming more of, kind of like more casual audience, which may be good for the company, but honestly, it kind of kills a lot of the things that I like about Magic. And I think, a lot of my audience, you guys feel the same way. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about Commander Horizons 3. And yeah, let's chat more about it. And we'll see the market data as the set drops and see how it performs. Okay? All right. Until next time, chat with you guys next time. Mark, SolarGames. I'll see you later. Peace. Stay classy.